Hey guys, it's me, Barbie, with my A.S.D, my Autism Sentiment Diary. I am finally posting my first video. I'm extremely excited, but a tad bit nervous, so bear with me. I've been wanting to do this for some time, and I finally built up the courage. I have a great support team that has been very encouraging, but also very understanding as to why I haven't done this. Although I have been a special needs mom for 18 years, I have been an autism mom for 16. My oldest son is 18 years old, and he has cerebral palsy. My other two, one is 16 and the other is 9. My 16-year-old is my sweet and sour child. She is high functioning. She's a sweetheart. She's been through a lot, but I'm so proud of her. Don't mind the background noise. That's Marky, my 18-year-old. He's currently entertaining himself with his usual Disney movies. You will get to know him along the way. I also have a 9-year-old. Now that guy right there is my busybody, the one that keeps me on my toes. He has severe autism. He has severe cognitive impairment. He also has severe sensory severe processing disorder. He is nonverbal, but with the grace of God, he has been learning how to communicate in his own ways lately. So, although I have 3 special needs children, my whole life is not entirely based around them. Although a lot of things that I have gone through and that I deal with on a daily evolves around them, I still am an individual. So I'm excited to share with you this book, because with this book I will be discussing all the things that come with it. And it's very invasive, very personal what I will be discussing. I will be discussing things such as the resentment that comes with feeling left out, misunderstood, judge. That's a good one. We stay home a lot, and it's not always by choice. But when we do stay home, it's just like an average household, just with a lot of structure. We do the same thing practically every single day for the last, I would say, 7 years. We've had the same exact routine. It has minimized coping issues with the children, so that's beneficial in so many ways. I will also be talking about the hindrance, how it affects my marriage, how it affects my friendships and my family, how hard it is to balance your personal life, your social life, just everything pertaining to you, how it is completely altered. I will be discussing things that people have made mention to me, and at that very moment I didn't have an answer to, from our outings, from schools, from doctor's appointments, from the constant struggles that are evident but I don't speak on. I'm excited to share all these things with you. My journey doesn't stop at 18, so I do have a very long life, and I'm praying on it. I'm praying that I am able to be a part of my children's life for eternity. I think all parents, wish for that. But everything that I'm doing now it's worth it. And I tell people all the time to bear with me and to understand that what I do is not intentional. What I do is for my children, as what anybody else do for their children. There are a lot of sacrifices that come with being a special needs parent. You come across situations where you don't really have a choice. It's already been made for you. There are moments that you feel a sense of overwhelming because time doesn't wait for anybody. So when you find yourself reflecting, you realize how much you have also missed. And It sucks, but it's life. I will be discussing things that hurt, things that still hurt, things that don't hurt anymore. My fears. That's a tough topic. I will be discussing the good, the bad, the exciting, the funny, the questions that people ask without asking. I want to be able to turn some of these assumptions into actual knowledge. I want you to have a better understanding that we are still people. We still feel. I've inherited the ability to feel my children's pain. My children might not be aware half the time, but I am affected by the surroundings and people's expressions and feelings about them. Finding balance, finding acceptance, finding the ability to blend in is never going to exist. I know that part, but just to be in a situation or a place where you don't stand out. And I'm not talking like standing out in a bad way, but more so just standing out just in general. People know when you're special needs. And more so with my son, you can physically tell that he has a disability, and I experience a lot of puzzled looks and uncomfortable looks and scoffs. Like my child is in their personal space, and trust me, it's not easy. My children deal with a lot of struggles already as children. The world's not made for them, and I'm in their world now. I'm in their world because I chose to be, but I'm also in their world because it's not always terrible. I will describe my life as hard. Very, very hard. But I used to always wonder what my life would be without them. But then I got to thinking, how will my life be without them? Like, seriously, how would my life be without them? Who would I be without them? Am I me because of them? I'm 37 years old. I have an 18-year-old. It's a lot to take in, but just overall, I'm just extremely nervous, but yet so excited to be able to share things with you guys that I have been wanting to do for so long. I've been working on my book for 2.5 years, so it's a lot. I made the ridiculous goal of completing the book in 6 months. I don't know what I was thinking, but I will say that not only just the time, just finding the right words to break it down into an understanding. I don't want to rush the process, for the simple fact that although my life feels rushed, my world is in rotation. So it's the same thing. It gets boring. It gets lonely. Very, very lonely. I could be in a room full of people. It's still lonely. I really hope that this book helps you better understand that we as people are affected. And we're not trying to make our children normal. We're just trying to make our children able. There's a big difference, I promise. But I don't want to make this whole video sad, but I do want to share with you guys that I'm excited. I really am excited about sharing things that I never did before. I've had small little conversations here and there with my best friend, for instance, and my mother, and my support coordinators, and my children's teachers, but I have never stripped myself completely and revealed what I hide so well. The most common question asked to me is, Barbie, how do you do this? How do you make it look so easy? And I don't really truly have an answer, but the best thing that I can tell you is that I just do it. When you are placed in my position, and if you really love your children, you just try. Trying becomes doing. And I've been doing it for 18 years. Don't get me wrong. I've made many, many, many mistakes. I found myself sitting there just crying, bawling my eyes out because I felt like I would never get it right. But when you do something over and over and over and over again, you start learning along the way what works, how it works. You learn to alter it along the way. It's not like completely life-changing, or it might not be something so drastic, but just something small, like pacing yourself. It's gonna get done regardless. That's the attitude I have. I've been doing the same thing, like the same exact routine for the most part now since my son got diagnosed with autism. My youngest, my 9-year-old. He is 9, and I've had the same school routine, medicine routine, daily routine with my children. When my children are home, same routine for 7 years. Talk about dedication. But I went through a whole bunch of stages where I had it wrong. And I've had people give me suggestions and hints. And respectfully, I tried them. But it didn't work. It doesn't mean that what you suggested was the wrong solution or the wrong advice. It just simply didn't work. I've always appreciated all the feedbacks from people. Don't get me wrong. I am extremely open-minded. And hell, I didn't get a diagnosis. My children did. I got sent home with a diagnosis with no instructions. Okay, it's not like you go to IKEA and you buy a dresser and it gives you step by step on how to assemble it. We don't get a handbook on how to assemble our lives and how to put things in order. And we don't have an index where we can go back when something's wrong and, have the little troubleshooting, context. We don't have that. Nobody in life has that. The same thing applies to autism. I've tried so many things where I drove myself crazy. And when I say crazy, I'm not talking about like where I was just in a corner balled up and I didn't know what to do with myself. I drove myself into drinking or I drove myself into drugs. No, I literally just drove myself insane because I'm like, I gotta get this right. It became an obsession because I really wanted to help my child. My biggest desire daily is to feel that sense of contentment. Like me to feel this sense of gratitude. Whether it's a smile, whether it's a child falling asleep comfortably in their bed, not crying at 2 o'clock in the morning because they're having a moment. I've faced many struggles along the way, and I have found myself feeling hopeless, doubting myself as a parent. And to this day, 18 years later, some people call me a veteran. I'm humble. I don't say that. But even after 18 years, I still make drastic, big mistakes with my children. But I hide it well. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. The stuff that we, and I'm speaking as a whole, I'm not the only parent that deals with and feels the same things that I do. And I'm hoping that my autism sentiment diary, my autism story, my voice will encourage other parents to speak. It's okay. It's not healthy to keep it all bottled up and not talk about it. Why? For the simple fact that it's very important for you to have good mental health, for you to have a center, for you to have the ability to give yourself acknowledgement for trying, for doing, because ultimately you're still human. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to come across some very mean people. You're going to come across moments where you're just ready to quit. I can't tell you how many times I said I quit, and my kids just gave me that look, like, really, Mom? Really? And I just couldn't. You know how many times I just sat down and cried? And my child just looked at me, am I still getting my oatmeal? Are you still running my bubble bath? Are you still going to read my book? And my answer is, yeah. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if I didn't sleep. It doesn't matter if I had a bad day. If I'm hungry, if I gotta pee. I mean, whatever the situation is. it's gonna get done. And the great thing about it is that my children might appear demanding, and they have these big expectations. And that's what any child, all children have expectations of their parents, and we as parents have expectations of our children. So that is the same with my children, except that they're asking for different things, and that's okay. I already have this trust established with my children that I mean the world to them. But if they only knew how much they mean the world to me. So please stick around. I really, really, really want you guys to stick around and to see everything that I have to talk about. So I hope to hear from you soon. Bye, guys.